Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Malcolm Dakar, and in today's video we are going to be making a Raglan t-shirt out of some rib knit. As you can see here, I have a couple different colors. I'm hoping to just put them all together and make something cool. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll see. Let's get into it. Okay, y'all, so let's get into the pattern making. I'm hoping that it'll look something similar to this. I'm really liking how it, flows into the neckline. And this situation here kind of reminds me of like a bird or something, but let's just get into it. So to start, we are going to go over, okay, wait. So I'm going to be going over 9 inches. I'm going to be going up 22 inches. Now the 22. And hopefully folks at home can see, because I can barely see with like the way the lighting is coming in. Now I'm going to make my neckline, and to do that I have my ruler that looks like this. Okay, so what I just did was use my why can't I remember the name of this ruler? I used my ruler to create my front and back necklines, and I know not everyone has a ruler like this or similar to this. So to find this point here, you can go over, from this middle line, you can go over 4 1/4, and then you can go up about 3 3/4. So get this point here, make a curve like this and like this. My back neckline, I went up 2 7/8 from our line here. So next I'm going to go to the shoulder. What I'm doing is marking where this point is, doing the same like over here, and then just making a straight line. From this line, I'm going to go down 2 1/2 inches. Okay, like that. I'm going to go from this point downward to make my shoulder. And we're going to go 5 inches on this, what it's going to be. So 5, and then I like to mark 2 1/2. I like to write my numbers down just so when I go back to my patterns, I don't need to figure out what this was or what that was. And next is our armhole. I am going to do 9 inches. And again, I'm just going to take my so yeah, now we have our body. I want to make this a V-neck. Let me just start a new line, and then we'll get into the V-neck. Probably should have thought this before I started making this video. I'm gonna do 1.5 inches. And right now I'm just making my seam allowance. In the past I used to take my tape measure and then do this, and then 3/8 and 3/8 and 3/8 all the way around. And that took a lot of time, just a quick little eye, 3/8, and then boom. So before you do the raglan, at least how I understand how to do it, I make my irregular pattern first, and then we create the shape. As you can maybe see here, we have this is our body, and so it'll be this piece and this piece. So we're going to start by creating this shape here. And so I want this point to be a little closer to like the center front, maybe like right here at this point. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not like measuring anything, but if I did, it'd be about 2 inches from this line here, 2 inches over. This curve just gradually kind of goes with the curve of our armhole. Curve it like that. Ooh, I'm gonna curve it like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I like that. Okay, so yeah, we can clean it up. So this will be our front. for the back, I'm going to push it up maybe a little. From this line here, this is like the top of the 22, so we went over 9 by 22, and this is like the top of that. So this line here, I think I'm gonna go up 1.5 inches. That'll be the back, and I'll just have it curve into that. Next, we're gonna make this line here. So I like how it's pretty big like up here, and then it gets really small up here. I'm gonna go curve like that, and then curve like that. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Clean this up a little. Ew, that line don't look that good right now. I like that, and then it hits like that, and then it kind of curves in it. Okay, now for the sleeve. You can see here, I've only done half the pattern. The sleeve, I typically do half the pattern as well, but with the raglan, we need the whole sleeve because one will be the front and then the other will be the back. What we're gonna do is measure these lines, our front and our back, and then that will determine the length of our front and back, if that makes sense. So 9 inches is our armhole opening. Go over 9 inches. Now we're going to determine how long we want our sleeve to be. Let's do 8. So we got 8 and then 9 down there. Next, I'm just going to make my sleeve how I would normally make my sleeve. I'm going to go down from this line here. Let's just do 2 inches. You can mark. What we're going to do is just make that curve of the sleeve, and so that it hits our 2-inch line right here. You can see this is 7 inches, and then I turned it, and then I did an additional 2 inches. Once you hit this point, you need to just make sure that you have enough to hit your line. You know what I mean? Like, not get too high and not get too low, because if I get too low and that point, and that 7-inch point is like right here, I don't have enough to then create the rest of that 2 inches to make the whole 9, right? And if you go too high, then the line will just extend way past where you want it to. So 7 to 9, it's about 8 3/4. If you're wondering where this point ends from our center line here, it's about 8 3/4. So next we can determine our like bottom hem length to be. I'm gonna go 6.5 because we're gonna add some ribbing to the bottom to bring that in. We're just gonna mirror what we just did. 2 inches, and then just extend this line. Do the 6.5. So I'm gonna do front back, or I don't know why I did back front on here, so I'm just gonna do back front. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is the video I saw. From our center line here, we go over 5/8 on both sides. I don't know why 5/8, but it worked for me, so I do not question it. Okay, so I actually did have to go back and question that, because upon creating the pattern, I realized that the distance between the back and the front needed to be way longer. and so what I'm saying here is incorrect. I adjust that later on, or later on in the video. I also adjust the back of our body, that back line of our body where I put it on the center front instead of putting it on the back neckline. I adjust that too, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip to that part of the video. Okay, so last time we left off, we were about to add our piece here to create our sleeve. Before we do that, I need to change this line, our back line here. So what I figured out was that with the raglan, how it works is the front and the back go into each neckline, you know? So the front here is going into the front of the neckline, but this back line isn't going into the back of the neckline. It's going into the center back. So yeah, I'm gonna move this line up into the neckline, and then after that, I'm going to move this line up as well, because this is gonna get a lot longer, or not a lot longer, but it's gonna get longer. So I'm gonna do that first, and then we're gonna create the rest of, finish our sleeve. And I'm probably gonna add a collar to this, but I'm gonna do it later on. Okay, so I have redone this back line here, and we have redone this. That doesn't sound right. I've redrawn this line and this line. I thought this was going to be longer, but this line and this line were the same. Pretty much, it only went up like 1/8. So this line didn't go up that much longer either. My main concern is that, you know, we're losing this by making this by cutting it off here. So I'm hoping that like this is long enough to make up for what's missing, you know what I mean? So we'll just see. I'll definitely learn something from doing this, so I'm kind of excited actually. I would honestly say this is less of like a how-to and more of a let's see. Yeah, so now we're gonna make this piece here, and I was thinking about this too. I'm pretty sure, you know, just by looking at how I've drawn it here, like this line goes into this side seam right here, and then it ends up not on the curved part, but more toward like this, or more toward this area. It's gonna start here, and then we're gonna move it up into here, because it's more toward the center, that center line. So more toward this line here. So it's like, it's gonna be something like that. From my line right here, I'm gonna go up 1.25 inches. So that's the center line. What about like 2? That kind of looks like 2. Maybe 1.25 inches actually, or 1.5 inches. So I just went from like this point right here, and I went over 1.5 inches. Then I went up 1.25 inches from this line here. I'm gonna try to clean it up a little bit. Okay, that looks, hopefully, I think, like what I'm trying to do. Well, next, I'm going to make my collar neckband for our neck. I'm gonna go off of these numbers. Hopefully, we get like all of our neck back. What I'm gonna do is add our 6 3/4 and our 4 3/8, multiply them by 2, or add, you know, 6 3/4 plus 6 3/4, and so on and so forth. Crap. Well, I'm using my phone to record, and I usually use my phone to add. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do some quick maths. 14 is 5. And that's another one. 6, 6, 6, 6, 12, 13. Right? 22. 22 1/4. I think that's right. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm locking it in 22 1/4. That was riveting. Oh my god. So after you get your number, after you add these up, you would take the 22 1/4 and then times that by 0.85, and then you would take that number, and then that would be your neck band. Pretty sure it's gonna be in like the 18 inch range. I think I'm just gonna make it 18. I'm just gonna use this line here. And I should mention, by the way, I've never liked math, but obviously with doing this, you need to know a little bit of math. So I've actually grown kind of fond of numbers a little more, but yeah, I never liked math. Okay, so we have 18 here. Next, we're just gonna determine what we want our like length to be. If we want that neckband to be like an inch or 3/4. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna add a collar. I'm gonna make it 3/4. I think I'm gonna go with 5/8 actually, because I don't want it to be too high up, so then like the collar might look goofy or something. I don't know. I know for a fact I want to add a collar because I think this looks good. We're just gonna go 5/8 on this. So I just made a little strip here, 18 by 5/8, and then I'm gonna add another 5/8 to just make it whole, you know. And we have our neckband. Okay, so 5/8, 18 seam allowance. Hopefully you guys are enjoying my let's see. I think that's what all my videos will be. Just let's sees, not how to's. Just let's find out. Okay, what else? We need to add or make our cuffs for our sleeves. I think that's what you call them, cuffs. I'm gonna go up an inch from here and just start a new line. I try not to waste as much fabric and as much paper and fabric as possible. I try to utilize the space that I have. So this is 13. I think I'm gonna make it 9. Just gonna continue this line here and go up and then go over 9. Do that over 9 and then do that. I think I'm gonna make the cuffs a little thicker, a little wider, longer, whatever. I think I'm gonna do 3/4. And so do that, and then so 3/4, 9 seam allowance. Okay, hopefully all of that is legible, because it is later at night, and I don't know if the light is cool. We're done. We have our body, we have our sleeve, we have the pieces. What I'm gonna do next is cut everything out, and then we'll trace our pieces out. Okay, so last time I left off, I was cutting out the pattern. So I have my pieces here. Let me move this. Okay, so I cut my pieces out, right, y'all? And so I kept looking at this distance plus, you know, the back distance, and I kept looking at this. We need to like make up for all of this in the sleeve, right? That's like how I think of it. And so this is supposed to be like all of this, and it just didn't look right, and I kept looking at this too and it didn't look right. So I like Googled some Raglan sleeves and how the rest, like how they looked, and so I pretty much came to the conclusion that this wasn't right. And so, yeah, then I just went ahead and made this one. And so what I did was just added the rest of my neck and then the rest of my back. And then I got that number, and then since it is a V-neck, I made this straight. That just made sense in my head. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I feel better about this sleeve than this one, so I don't know. Also, this this part was completely wrong. In the picture, it goes into the neckline, and this isn't the neckline, it's the sleeve, you know, so it'd be going into like the body. And I was looking at this, and this didn't look right either. Really, this whole sleeve just didn't look right. And so I had to just go back and think about it. And it's good that, you know, you catch things early on, because if I had cut this out of fabric and did everything, I would have been even more upset. But I wasn't upset this time. Well, I'm not upset, but I would have been had I done that, because now, you know, you're potentially wasting fabric and everything like that. But yeah, that's what I did. I redid the sleeve, and so we're gonna run with this. I'm hoping. I mean, because again, it just makes sense in my head that, you know, we need to make up for this, and we need to make up for the rest of the back. And then it's a V-neck, so it's going to be going straight. And so this is this, and this is still these parts. So I don't know, we'll see. Next, we're going to use our tracing wheel to trace out the pieces that we have made. And to do that, I like to use my cutting board because it has a nicer surface for puncturing, I should say. But, you know, if you don't have that, it's fine. Even though I don't even think this is a how-to anymore. I said this is just a let's see. This is just a I don't know. Yeah, I think this should be fun, because I think it is going to turn out. It's going to turn out looking like this, I think. I'm glad I got to document this. No, it's not a how-to anymore. It's just a mess around and find out. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to trace around here like that, and then go like that. At this point here, I'm going to pivot, like, you know, pivot a bit and then hit that front like that. I don't know. I think this is going to turn out cool. I'm excited to just finish it. And whatever isn't working, shit. Whatever isn't working, you just fix. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you are doing good. To whoever is watching this. I believe, I'm going to say like 7 people are watching this, are going to watch this. So I'm pretty sure the lines definitely aren't coming in on the camera. No, I don't think so. I've created some puncture marks and draw those in. Okay, so this part has seam allowance already. This is on the fold. This has seam allowance, so we're just going to add seam allowance here. So I have my front. I'll do this little piece here. Nima goes walking in, then she walks her. Okay, if you've stuck with me to this point, we've made it. We're here. We have our pieces. They're ready to be cut out. We're about to make a fly garment, I swear. This is going to look exactly how this picture looks without the text and whatnot. I'm going to get to that later, you feel me? But this is exactly how it's going to look. It's going to look fly. I already know. Okay. Let's cut it. Okay. So, this is how the first one came out. I know it's not exactly how I thought. I mean, really, it's just the collar. The neck is pretty wide. The collar, as soon as I saw the neck, I was like, okay, this might be a little off. I feel like it could have been fixed. Like I could have fixed this. Like I could have. But then I was just like, I'm gonna remake it. Like let me just like see it through with the pieces that I have. Like, cause I could have made the neckband thicker and maybe shorten the neckband even more so that it brought the neck in more, and then made the collar bigger. Which I feel like even now I still could. Like I couldn't do all this and then redo it. But I did not stop here, you feel me? Because I wasn't gonna be like, yo, I'm not about to make this video and make this bad t-shirt with this bad collar and then have that be it, you feel me? So I went ahead and just like made like 3 more. It's like testing each one and like remaking it, fixing the tweaking it how I saw fit. And so, okay, hold on. Okay, so then I made this one, which as you can see and tell is a much better fit. I wanted, a slimmer fit. I fixed up the neck. I mean, yeah, this is pretty much like this is a good version for me. And it made me more confident to then now be able to make an actual how-to on how to make something like this. Cause I think this is just a cool thing to, make if you want. But then, I didn't stop there. So I made 2 more. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so then I made this one, which as you can see doesn't have a collar. Slightly bigger, slightly longer sleeve. I was very limited in color. I was really trying to pair like the best colors together. Again, each one got better than the next, I feel like, so I was really just happy with the outcome. So, okay, let me show the 4th one. So then I made this one, circling back to the first one that I made, the colorway at least, because I really like that colorway. I feel like the pink with the purple and the orange and the blue really hit, and then I had this purple rib knit, only had a little bit of it, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do the collar. And I was gonna ask y'all how you feel about it before I actually like sewed it in. I feel like it's just such a nice hit of like purple, just a nice deep purple right here on the neck. So I really like the way this one came out. You need to just make samples, like you need to make multiple samples. The first sample will be able to tell you like, okay, yeah, I need to push this up. I need to make the neck smaller. So, I mean, I did kind of rush through it. I feel like because I was trying to make the video too, I was maybe missing certain things or wasn't thinking about certain things, but it's definitely like just something you have to go through. Like, yo, you got to make a bad sample and then you make a better one, and you make a better one, you know what I mean? Yeah, I am very happy with the turnout of all 3 of these, and now I do feel confident, doing a how-to on how to do this because, I've come this far. I might as well actually make a video now on how to do a how-to. So my next video might be that, or it might be something different, but I'll definitely be making this and showing you how to make this as well. Because again, it's a fun piece. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's inspired by like vintage football jerseys. So I was just like Googling a bunch of those. And again, I wanted to do like a raglan sleeve for a while. So like this was just like the perfect thing I feel like to do with like the rib knit that I had lying around. Definitely think I might do some like embroidery or something on the chest. I feel like you should definitely figure out like the fit before you figure out like what you're gonna put on it. If the cut of it isn't fire, then it's like, what does the design matter? It still matters. I'm just talking now. But anyways, this is the Raglan V-neck collared shirt. Not how to, but let's see. And we did see, we found out. And next is gonna be the how to. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you stuck around to the end. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite between the 4. Hopefully it wasn't the first one. But if it was, that's cool too, because, it wasn't, I don't think it's unwearable. It's just out and about and somebody sees it, they'll be like, oh, that's cool. But like, if you have a chance to really look at it, then you'll be like, oh, okay, thanks for watching. Till next time.